Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we explore compelling material and really get into what resonates.
And today is quite unique. We're doing something different.
Yes, we are. We're focusing entirely on one source, the May 2025 Virgo horoscope from Lorenzo, and we're delivering it verbatim.
Exactly. We have his full forecast right here, specifically for the May 12th, 2025 full moon in Scorpio. It's from his report, Virgo, the voice you silenced, is coming back louder than ever.
Now, normally we synthesize multiple sources, but Lorenzo,
Well, we felt this deserved special treatment.
we should probably mention for anyone new, we actually know Lorenzo personally.
They do, and his work is, well, it's consistently profound. We trust his insights implicitly.
Completely. He calls what he does psychic journalism with tarot archetypes on stage,
hmm
which feels very accurate for how he uncovers those deeper layers, that sacred code beneath things.
So our mission today is simple. Give you direct access. We're sharing Lorenzo's complete Virgo forecast for May 2025, word for word.
Think of it as us being the messengers for his insights this time, a direct transmission. And remember Lorenzo's advice. If you're Virgo, listen for both your sun sign and your ascendant, or rising sign. That gives the full picture.
Right, for that personalized layer. And the central theme he's identified for Virgo this May. Wow, it's powerful.
What is it?
He says, your voice was a spell. You've been speaking in cages. Break the language. Own the truth.
Okay.
And he adds, the message isn't in your words. It's in what you were trained not to say. Deep stuff.
Yeah, that really sets the stage. Okay, let's dive into Lorenzo's words. He starts with what he terms the cosmic theater.
Yeah, so for this full moon, the archetype is the high priestess. That's the moon itself.
And it's in Scorpio,
Mm,
which he calls death's costume.
right.
Intense.
And it's happening in the third house, the temple of thought, voice, and messages.
So communication is front and center.
Absolutely. Lorenzo describes this as, and I quote, a psychic excavation of your voice, your mind, and how you tell your truth.
An excavation, not just like a little tweak.
No, he's very clear. It's not about making Virgos louder necessarily, but about purging. Purging the poison from how you communicate. Writing, speaking, even your inner thoughts.
So that makes sense. Like maybe external pressures or even self-doubt have sort of trained you, Virgo, to hold back.
To filter yourself, maybe second guess your intuition, stick only to the hard facts instead of trusting that gut feeling. Lorenzo really gets into that conditioning.
And he poses this really direct question for Virgos to consider during this full moon.
Yeah, he asks, whose language are you speaking? And what would your true voice sound like if it didn't need to be liked, validated, or palatable?
That's a challenge, a really deep one. Okay, so where does he go next?
He then lays out the tarot planets playing on your stage. First up is a trine aspect.
Okay, trines are generally flowing supportive energy, right?
Exactly. This one is to Saturn, which he connects to the world card in Pisces, represented by the moon card. And this is happening in your seventh house.
The seventh house.
Mhm.
That's relationships, partnerships. Lorenzo calls them sacred mirrors.
Precisely. So Saturn here signals karmic clarity. Something shifting significantly in a key relationship, a contract, or just how you see yourself reflected in another person. A cycle is closing.
But Lorenzo adds a really important nuance here, doesn't he? It's not necessarily about cutting ties.
No, that's the critical part. He says you don't need to let them go, but you do need to stop being the version of yourself you became to keep them.
Letting go of the persona created in that dynamic.
Exactly. The full moon, he says, purifies those repeated scripts, the ways you spoke or acted just to maintain peace, even if it wasn't fully true.
Okay, what's the next planetary player?
Also a trine, this time to the North Node retrograde, the star reversed card again in Pisces, in that same seventh house.
North Node is destiny, direction. Retrograde suggests maybe an inward look or revisiting something.
Sort of. Lorenzo frames it as destiny whispering, but maybe through friction, through people who actually challenge your voice, your faith, your truth.
So discomfort in relationships isn't necessarily bad here.
Not according to Lorenzo. He says, let the discomfort guide you. This isn't rejection. It's redirection to your raw power. It's a course correction.
Interesting. Okay, moving from trines. What's next?
An opposition. This is between Uranus, the Fool card, and Taurus, which he links to the Hierophant, and it's happening in the ninth house.
Opposition means tension, a challenge, something to balance, and the ninth is beliefs, worldview, higher learning.
Right. And Uranus, the Fool, disrupts. Lorenzo's message here is blunt. Forget needing another course or qualification.
What do you need instead?
He says, you need a breakthrough in the body. a gut knowing that rises from within and shatters what you thought you knew.
Wow, so it's about inner knowing over external validation or book learning.
Totally. He says, stop seeking from memory, start speaking from revelation. Trust that internal lightning bolt.
Okay, intense. What other aspects are at play?
There's a sextile that's an aspect of opportunity to the South Node retrograde, represented by the Devil reversed in Virgo, which is the Hermit card, in your first house.
Okay, breakdown. Sextile is opportunity. South Node is the past, what we're releasing. First house is self-identity. Virgo Hermit is, well, Virgo. And Devil reversed.
Lorenzo interprets this whole combination as shedding the prison of perfection.
The classic Virgo trait.
He suggests that the need to be seen as useful, humble, or perfectly expressed might have become a form of self-imposed bondage, not a virtue.
So the Devil reversed as the Hermit is like freeing yourself from that self-criticism.
Exactly. Lorenzo basically gives permission. You're allowed to be messy, mystical, contradictory. You're not a thesis. You're a revolution. It's liberation time.
I like that. You're a revolution. Okay, one more aspect.
Yes, a quincunx. This one involves Jupiter, the Wheel of Fortune, in Gemini, which he connects to the Lover's card happening in your 10th house.
Quincunx often means misalignment, needing adjustment. 10th house is career, public image.
Spot on. Lorenzo warns that a shiny career path or opportunity might look great on paper, might boost your reputation, but it could be fundamentally misaligned with your soul's truth.
A clash between the public persona and the inner fire.
Precisely. He says there might be a disconnect between who the world thinks you are and what you've become behind closed doors. His advice: don't chase what brings applause if it mutes your truth.
Powerful stuff. And knowing Lorenzo, these aren't just abstract ideas. He sees them playing out.
Definitely. Which leads into his next section, hidden dynamics no one is seeing. These are combinations of the aspects.
Okay, what's the first one?
Saturn conjunct the North Node in the 7th house. A conjunction means they're fused, amplifying each other. He calls this a karmic rewrite of relational power scripts.
So relationship dynamics again, but with a karmic weight.
Yes. He suggests someone past or present might try to trigger old feelings of being small, indebted, or silenced.
But the full moon's message counters that.
Right. The message is, you're not that version anymore. It's about outgrowing the dynamic, not trying to win them over or make them understand.
Okay, what's the second hidden dynamic?
Uranus sextile the North Node and trine the South Node. These are flowing aspects involving the planet of sudden change and the destiny points. Lorenzo calls this unpredictable liberation from the identity you built to survive.
Liberation. So that snap you mentioned earlier connects here.
Exactly. If you feel a sudden urge to break free or have a moment of unexpected truth-telling, he says don't see it as regression. It's liberation from containment.
Like breaking your own invisible barriers.
Yes. Breaking your own glass ceiling through a wild moment of truth. Allow it to happen, he advises.
Okay, and the last hidden dynamic.
Jupiter square the nodes. A square means tension needing action. He calls this the sacred mismatch between purpose and persona.
This echoes the 10th house point, but deeper.
It's about realizing the roles you thought defined your purpose just don't fit anymore. The path forward isn't what you thought.
And his advice tied to this?
Is profound. Stop chasing platforms. Chase prophecy. Follow your inner truth, not the external stage.
Wow. That's a lot of cosmic energy focused on voice and truth. Which brings us to Lorenzo's wow moment for this full moon.
Yes, and he doesn't mince words. He calls this full moon a verbal exorcism.
An exorcism of what?
Of all those scripts, the silences, the careful tones, the safe words you've used to avoid punishment, misunderstanding, or abandonment, all the ways you caged your voice.
That is intense.
And he concludes this part by saying, this is when your real voice breaks the chains. And it doesn't ask for permission, it asks for truth.
Chills. Honestly, knowing Lorenzo's accuracy, this feels really significant for Virgos.
It really does, which is why his practical advice section feels so grounded despite the intensity. He calls it practical, shockingly effective advice.
Okay, let's hear it. What's the first piece?
Write a letter to someone you never told the full truth to. But, and this is key, don't send it.
Okay, then what?
Read a letter to yourself, then burn it. Lorenzo says the spell is broken through vibration. It's about the act of speaking it.
Interesting. Okay, number 2.
Record a voice memo. Just speak as your future self, raw, unscripted, confident, then listen back. It's about hearing the power that's already in you.
I like that. Tapping into what's already there. What's next?
A timing-specific one. Avoid big career communications, press releases, performance reviews, pitches between May 11th and 14th.
Why is that?
Lorenzo says, The truth is still simmering. Let it fully boil before you speak it. Give it time to clarify.
Makes sense. Don't rush the newly boiling truth. Number 4.
Declutter your bookshelf or journal stack. Physically remove books or old writings that no longer align with who you are now. Create space for the new truth.
A physical clearing reflecting the internal one.
Okay.
And the last piece of advice.
An affirmation. Say it aloud on May 12th, the day of the full moon. I am no longer the voice of fear. I am the oracle I once silenced.
I am the oracle I once silenced. That's powerful.
It really is. And he wraps up the whole forecast with a closing wow line.
Let's hear it.
This full moon isn't here to help you find the right words. It's here to help you remember the forbidden ones. The words that set you free. The ones you were never allowed to speak until now.
Until now. Wow. Just wow.
And then, of course, Lorenzo encourages sharing the message if it resonates and mentions his personal readings, which he describes as a divine blueprint, not just entertainment.
Which, again, knowing him, feels absolutely accurate. That was his complete forecast for Virgo, May 2025.
Verbatim, a really direct, potent message about reclaiming that authentic voice.
And delivered with that unique insight Lorenzo has. As we said, we trust his work deeply.
Absolutely. So for you listening, especially if you're a Virgo sun or ascendant, maybe take a moment. What part of that really hit home for you?
Yeah, what specific phrase or idea sparked something? What might that be telling you?
And maybe, just as a final thought to sit with, what could shift if you actually leaned into those forbidden words Lorenzo mentioned?
What's maybe one small step, even if it feels a bit scary, you could take this month to start honoring that real, uncaged voice.
Yeah.
Something to really mull over.